What's up, guys? It's your homeboy, Cowboy Crunk, coming to you from Manama, Bahrain. Yes, it's your war daddy, bringing you one more video on these crazy Dallas Cowboys and the scenarios we're trying to wrap around with what happened in week one, how we can make it better, what's going on with the whole situation. This video, I'm going to go over a couple of things real quick. One with the offensive line, the situation there with how we can make that better, what happened. Some of that I think had to do with the coaching scheme and just the way things went down. Also on the defensive line, what we can do to make things better there, what the situation was, what caused that to just kind of fall apart. We thought that the strength of our team would be the defensive line, and they kind of got dismantled and taken apart. And the last thing is we're still working on this Earl Thomas thing and shoring up something. There's not a lot of talk on that. What we're going to do at the end of the video, the last portion, I have some videos here I want to throw out. It kind of gives the timeline on what's happened with Earl Thomas, and the reason I think this is not going down. I'm gonna give the reason out first so you guys can stick for that. But the reason it's not going down, I think, is because Earl Thomas is skeptical on taking a contract. It's the same thing he went through Seattle. He doesn't want to take a contract without some kind of guarantees. And this veteran vested contract does not really guarantee him anything. It's a real open-end contract as far as he's concerned. The Cowboys could close the book on that at any time they wanted, and he wants a little more from that because of the prior injuries. I'm going to bring up the prior injuries he's had, put those on a timeline, and show you where he's negotiated contracts previous to this. It's really hurt him because of the injuries he's had, the 2 broken legs, and I want to go over that. But we'll get into that later. Real quick, I want to go over the offensive line. We've got to do something there. That's nothing more than we just got manhandled. We've got to take Dak. We've got to move the point of attack. By the point of attack, I mean with the ball is snapped when Dak Prescott is in the backfield and Ezekiel Elliott are there, like the Rams did, and other teams do this. You guys know that other teams that do it as well, and it keeps the pocket moving. You've got to move that pocket to the left and to the right. You've got to move the ball behind the line of scrimmage a little bit these days because these defensive line are so fast. If you don't do that, they're just going to swarm you. They're going to get in there. They're going to beat these bigger, heavier guys in front of them, and they're going to close the pocket in. And we saw that against us because we didn't move the pocket. On the other side of the ball, they did move the pocket around. When that happens, that does not allow your defensive line to engage the blocks. Our defensive line was not able to attack the point of offense, which would be where Jared Goff is or the running back in the backfield, because they were moving the ball left to right. They were getting the ball outside the edges and up the field, and that way your defensive line is not able to fire off and attack the quarterback or attack the running back. So that's the things that the Rams did well against us, and it played into our hands. It took our defensive line out of the game, and those are some of the things we need to do. Such, like I said, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Ravens, there's other teams that do that. Those are the 2 teams that are prolifically known for doing that well. And Dak has the ability to do that. We have the ability to get the ball outside. We need to put guys in motion more. We saw none of that. The offense was too bland, and it hurt our offensive line. They were actually forced to just sit back and protect Dak and open holes for Zeke. There was no concept of creating holes by deception or moving guys or guys in motion. None of that was done. On the other side of the ball, it's the exact same thing. Our defensive line got killed because they were very good at doing that. And our defensive line just couldn't handle getting out wide. Our linebackers weren't getting to the edges. They weren't getting to the sideline and making tackles. Our corners are having to go downfield with the receivers. They're not there to make tackles. So our safeties have to step up. Our safeties didn't play great. Darian Thompson actually had a much better game than Xavier Woods. He actually led our team in tackles. And with all of the edge work that was being done, DeMarcus Lawrence only had 1 tackle on his side of the field, where on the other side, Aldon Smith had 6 solos and 5 assisted tackles and a sack. So Not sure how the hell that's happening. I mean, that's you expect the numbers to be the opposite. You'd expect, DeMarcus Lawrence to have 6 tackles and 5 assisted and a sack, and Aldon Smith to have 1. So something's going on here, guys. The array of statistics is not working well. Darian Thompson leading our team in tackles is not working well. X Woods not having very much production either. So it's really got us on the defense, got our heels back and not knowing what's going on. Getting into that, I think if we get a defensive tackle in there that can help us out, they're possibly looking at hopefully looking at Snacks Harrison. Not sure what he's interested in. He's in the Dallas area already. He's right there, along with Eric Reed. Eric Reed, the safety, lives in the Dallas area. It's another player we could look at. That would really help our defense. Since we're so thin at linebacker, at least if we shored up the defensive line, it would make it a little cleaner for our linebackers where they could probably play a little better, a little cleaner, and make better tackles, get to the sidelines a little better, and those kind of things. On the back end, I want to go into this Earl Thomas thing one more time. As I said, I think the reason this is not taken off is more now on Earl Thomas. I think when we made the move to get rid of Clinton Dix, the Cowboys kind of thought this would be a really simple thing. They'd move over to Earl Thomas, they'd make a deal, they'd kind of cut a deal, and I think they had talked to him previously, or else they wouldn't have just done that. And because we're all wondering why they just cut Clinton Dix. He's obviously got to be just as good as what we have, but they had to do that to free up the spot and free up the money. So they've done that now. And I think the negotiations have kind of stalled out because Earl Thomas wants more of a guaranteed deal, just like he did in Seattle 2017-18 when he was finishing that season up. He went to Seattle, he wanted more money, he wanted guaranteed money. When he got the deal with the Ravens, he took that because it was guaranteed money, it was more money. He is looking for money, he is more interested in money. I think he is more interested in money than I originally thought, especially on the guaranteed side because of the injuries. So we're going to go into that timeline right now. Where I'm going to start is 2016. In 2016, we start with this play right here. It's his first broken leg. It comes in 2016 against the Carolina Panthers. And here we go. I'm going to play this from the start.
Clock of the 1. Fires over the middle, and that's almost...
So you guys might remember that play. Him and Cam Chancellor going for the interception. They both had hands on the ball, and I guess their legs crossed each other, and it ended up breaking Earl Thomas' femur. So after this injury, which ended his season in 2016, he went into the 2017 season thinking, I've got 2 years left on this deal, 2017 and 18. I need to play this year out. And during this year, I'm going to let them know, I don't want to play 2018. He let them know early. I want a new deal. I want a new deal. They tried, talking about that early in the season. And this is actually what happened during the 2017 season, about midway, actually 2/3, 3/3, 3/4 through the season. This is what happened. You guys, well, before I play that, you guys recall he went over to the Dallas Cowboy locker room. This is in 2017, after he broke his leg the next season. He went over to the Cowboys locker room and went in there and, kind of had a talk with Dez and put his arm around Jason Garrett and all those things and kind of let them know. So this is just the interview after.
Emotional.
Why did you go over there?
Talk to Dez and I saw Coach Garrett, and I've always been a Cowboys fan growing up. But the biggest thing that, when I say come get me is, I don't literally mean like, come get me now. I'm still in the prime of my career. I still want to be here. But when Seattle kicked me to the curb, please, the Cowboys, come get me here.
See what he says there? When Seattle kicks me to the curb, please come get me. So he knew he was going into 2018. He had 1 year left on his contract, but he was going to ask in that offseason, he was going to ask for his new deal. And if they didn't do it, he was going to ask to leave or be traded, and he would hope the Cowboys would come get him. The problem was, if you guys recall, there was a huge request on the part of it was because this situation, everyone knew he wanted to go to Dallas. And Seattle's like, if you want to go to Dallas, we're going to make Dallas pay for it. And they gave, I think it was 2 firsts or a first and a second. It was something unrealistic that the Cowboys didn't want to do. So they said, no, we can't do this. He was forced to play 1 more year with Seattle and finish out his contract. As you guys recall, he didn't go to preseason. He didn't go to OTAs. He didn't do any of that. He showed up day 1, so he wouldn't miss any game checks. He showed up at game 1 and took the season from there. Now we go into 2018. He's playing on his final year of that contract. He's going to be a free agent, and we have this situation happen. I keep turning around, but 2018 season, during the regular season, this happens. Not a very big. Now you guys can kind of see that. I know there wasn't much audio, there wasn't a need for one, but it wasn't a serious play where he did anything drastic or took a big hit on his leg, and he ended up breaking that same left leg again, which put him in a situation where he was rolled off on the golf cart and he flipped off Pete Carroll, and he was doing that because Pete Carroll didn't give him the deal he wanted. Now, because of that injury, his season is over. He's going into free agency with a cast on his leg, or coming off, going to rehab and therapy and all that, and trying to get a new deal with a new team or Seattle. But he's got this injury hanging over his head, where he was playing at that season, he was playing at this level and getting paid at this level. That's why he wanted the new deal, just in case something like that happened. It's more of an insurance policy. So now he's going to look for a deal, and people are like, you're coming off an injury. We can't pay you what you were playing at that level. Yeah, but we can't pay you there. What if you can't perform at that level? So that's why these deals end up not happening, going back and forth sometimes. It just turns out that way. So now that this deal is done, the Cowboys were trying to trade for him. If you guys remember, it was free agency. Cowboys were trying to pick him up in free agency. There was some bids going. There was some talk going around. The Cowboys offered him a deal, and he didn't take it because the Baltimore Ravens offered him a much better deal with more guaranteed money. And that's where the situation is I'm talking about now. It's guaranteed. They gave him the guaranteed money, and he went to the Ravens. He went to the Ravens. He was there for a year. The Ravens safeties, their rookie safeties, their young guys, have been playing very, very well. Not Dak Prescott. Earl Thomas has been watching this now for throughout the season. He knows for a fact, with the salary he's making and those young safeties playing very well, he's in a position now, probably before October 29th, he was going to get traded. They were going to trade him to a team. He would have no say where he went. He would have no input or anything. That's why he forced his way out of there. He did things like said he needed more time to wash his car between practices. He was late to practices. Now the other personal stuff that happened off the field, I can understand. Those things happened. I don't think that had anything to do with it. That was just him being stupid and young. He is still young, for a person in life. Doing things, having money. He was out doing things he shouldn't have been doing and got in trouble or caused some issues with his wife. The locker room things, he brought those to the table, guys. He brought them to the table because he was going to get traded. He had a long-term deal that he was not going to be able to work through because those young guys were going to push him out. They would have traded him. They would have found another team that would have taken the money and walked, and he would have ended up somewhere he didn't want to be. So that's why I think he worked his way out of that deal. That's why I think now he's sitting where he's at. He's at home. Now the problem is the Cowboys are wanting to get him on a vested veteran deal. The issue is he doesn't want that. He knows he's got these 2 injuries that happened in 2016 and 2018. If he takes a vested veteran deal and he walks out on the field and this happens again, he's going to have an issue finding a team to pick him up after 3 serious, leg injuries. So it's working out right now. I'm sure the Cowboys and Earl Thomas are talking. Earl Thomas is working out. He's doing his thing. He's not throwing all these things out on social media. He's not acting crazy. He's not. Right now, it's to the point where I think he just wants a pretty decent deal. He wants guaranteed money. He won't sign a vested veteran deal, and that's what's put us in this situation. It's kind of a lock. We don't see any movement from the Cowboys. I think he's waiting. Earl Thomas is kind of waiting until he's hoping that they'll get in a situation they have to do it, where they're like really need him. As for now, we'll see, guys. But that's where it is. That's where I'm locked in at. It all makes sense as far as if you put the timeline on the injuries and what's going on and why the deal isn't made. We're all not understanding this, but if you take those injuries into account, it really makes sense on why Earl Thomas wouldn't do this deal, and why the Cowboys are reluctant to do it. I don't think he is an issue going to the locker room. I think he created that in Baltimore on his own, and he's a Hall of Fame guy, or he's borderline Hall of Fame. Why would he come into the locker room and act a child and act childish and be ridiculous, especially on a team in a locker room where he's wanted to be his whole life? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. So that's where I'm at, guys. It's your homeboy Cowboy Crunk closing this video out. We need to get this Earl Thomas thing done and get whatever he's willing to do. If the deal works out for us and we think he can come in here and make a difference and help this team and help that soft safety play we saw it was too soft. We need something strong, and this is the guy that can do it. Him or Eric Reed, either one would be great. So that's it, homeboys. Cowboy Crunk from Manama, Bahrain, your War Daddy.